Now, this is where I would typically look out into the room and sea of faces smiling toward me and see, a couple people who are eating a sandwich, and then there'd be one or two people that just had like a blank stare on their face, and then there'd be a couple people who had laid their head down on their desk and were just kind of crying or saying, "Why me?" something to that effect. I don't want to go into the other stuff that's in that section. I just want to talk about this compartmental analysis, this idea, and really what it is. I talk about like a fish tank, but it doesn't have to be a fish tank. We can think in terms of, concentration, candy factory, right? You got to get sugar in the candy, some concentration. Somebody somewhere is pouring huge bags of sugar into a vat that is being, mixed a little bit and then piped into the candy making vat. And in the candy making vat, depending on what type of candy you might have different concentrations. So one day you turn on to make Hershey's Kisses, and the next day you're turning on to make, whatever else. And you don't necessarily need exactly the same concentration of sugar. There's a formula for that, right? So somebody is putting in the right amount of sugar to make this work, and they're pouring in many, many pounds because they're making lots of this. Or if you're talking about, carbonated beverages, or, if you're talking about something that needs to, ferment for a while, or whatever else it may be, you're putting in some concentration of the stuff that goes in there, and you're putting it into an existing tank, right? This tank, here I said, well, you're getting more and more and more that's in the tank, but we could have an additional term too. We could have, this input is keeping up with the output. The output that's flowing out is, making the candies or whatever else that it may be, but we need to switch over candy type. So we need to know, well, when can we stop, send in more sugar or less sugar? Or, when can we, if these things cost money to pump the, obviously to be filling up, maybe in between 2 and 3%, anywhere in between 2 and 3% is a good enough concentration. So we want to pump up the amount of sugar coming in and then shut the thing off for a while. And then know when it needs to come back on based on this equation, because after T minutes, there's going to be a point in time where concentration is getting too low. We need to turn on our pump again and get more sugar going in there. So all I want to do in this section is I want to assign you problem 1, problems 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So 1 and 4 through 8, which should be the same thing that's in the book. We're not going to look at the other ones. There's some that are biological processes, talks about drug staying in the system, etc. I'm not going to talk about those. But do 1 and 4 through 8, and then we will talk. I'll probably set another time up to talk. Maybe. See, I'm interviewing candidates on Monday and Tuesday, or no, Monday. But you guys, some of you are interviewing candidates on Tuesday. Probably I'll set up a time for Wednesday. So try to get this homework. I know it's only 6 problems, but they're challenging. And try to get that done, and I'll set up a conference call for us on Wednesday where you can ask questions about that and try to get points of clarification off of the things that I've done today. And that's pretty much it for today. Thanks.